And while many planes remain grounded and many pilots out of work due to the COVID-19 pandemic, one pilot wants to keep flying high. Let's speak now to Sputnik Aviation founder, Captain David de Koenigswarter. David, thank you so much for joining us. Well, we all know it's been a tough 2020 and 2021 for the aviation industry. How are you coping during these difficult times?
Well, it has been very difficult for many pilots, including myself, and I simply tried my best to keep myself proficient in any way I could. And with the availability of home flight simulators such as X-Plane 11, the one that I use, I was able to find a way to keep myself somewhat proficient and current and pass it towards a lot of the aspiring pilots who follow us on Facebook nowadays.
And many of your fellow pilots have either been laid off or on unpaid leave of absence, also trying to remain proficient, practice their manual flying skills on this home simulator.
That is correct, Rico. It's a very very technological development in training nowadays, where it's become available to pretty much anybody who can afford to pay for the home simulator. And I've been encouraging a lot of my friends, as well as my colleagues in the airlines who have been laid off, to keep themselves as sharp as possible in preparation for the aviation rebound, which hopefully will be here soon enough.
That's true. Everyone's expecting maybe a turnaround in the tourism and aviation industry. Definitely not this year, but at the earliest by 2022. But tell me, can home flight simulators really keep professional pilots like yourself compliant and proficient?
Well, Rico, you know, practice kind of makes perfect sometimes, but what I believe in is, you know, making good habits big stick. And if you have enough time on your hands, a lot of free time, I would suggest that if you're a pilot, put some effort into doing some of the regular procedures that you can do on the simulator. It will really supplement your actual training that is required of you on the actual simulator. It really helps you with your muscle memory, remembering the procedures, et cetera, et cetera. So as much as possible, I like to advocate for this type of an exercise.
You know, over the last few years, David, there have been several air accidents. You know, what we're using right now is technology. Can it help lessen these fatal accidents, or are pilots just becoming too dependent on technology to fly the aircraft for them?
Well, in recent crashes, Rico, there have been a lot of investigations leading towards, the root cause being pilots not being really prepared for malfunctions in the automation. So as we like to promote in the airlines, once in a while, especially when we're doing our actual biannual simulator training, we do try to give the pilots manual control of the aircraft to get the handling skills back. Because in a real world environment, we as much as possible, we try to keep on the autopilot to lessen the workload. It's a very demanding job, especially in a high traffic environment. Like pre-pandemic, Manila was one of the most congested airports in the world, as most of us know. And using the autopilot to help us pilots manage our workload is extremely important. But of course, we do have to remember that there are going to be times that we need to handle the aircraft manually. And the use of home flight simulators really helps us supplement and enhance our manual flying skills.
But if the professional pilot wants to go beyond the home flight simulators, can they access, even though they're in furlough or they don't have any jobs, the actual flight simulator itself?
Yes, Rico. Actually, during the pandemic, I took a course at a school called Alpha Aviation Group, which is one of the top-notch schools here in the Philippines who have the equipment, such as the Level D flight simulators used by airline pilots for training and the recurrencies. So I've been handling a few sessions with some of my former colleagues who have been furloughed, and they're coming back into the industry now to get their licenses current, getting themselves proficient again. And I'm happy to see that a lot of them are now, they're coming back, getting themselves ready, because sooner or later, hopefully sooner, things are going to pick up. And as responsible pilots, we need to be ready for the aviation rebound because, the passengers are entrusting their lives in our hands. And I do firmly believe, as well as pretty much every single pilot that I know, that safety is number one.
All the best to you, Captain David Koenigswarter, the founder of Sputnik Aviation.